Previously, we explored the commencement of the revelation, focusing on the episode where the angel Jibril descended and embraced the prophet, reciting to him, Iqra bismi rabbika. Upon returning home, the prophet confided in his wife, Khadija, who then took him to Waraqa ibn Nawfal. We delved into Waraqa's role in the subsequent events. A significant question arises from this narrative. How could the prophet, as a divinely appointed messenger, seek guidance from Waraqa, who was not a prophet? Initially, this appears contradictory. However, scholars explain that at this juncture, the prophet himself had not fully comprehended his prophetic mission. This scenario illustrates the profound value and sanctity of knowledge, demonstrating that even prophets do not hesitate to learn from non-prophets. Despite being a prophet, Muhammad sought understanding from those knowledgeable about divine matters, acknowledging that wisdom is to be revered and sought after, regardless of the source. Returning to the hadith, Jabir ibn Abdullah continues the story, noting that after this initial revelation, there was a cessation of divine messages. Ibn Abbas recounts that the prophet wandered the valleys and mountains of Mecca, yearning for Jibril's return, but to no avail. Some scholars suggest this period lasted up to a year, though more reliable sources, including Ibn Abbas, indicate it was around 40 days. During this time, the prophet grappled with confusion and self-doubt, questioning the reality of his experiences. He frequently returned to Mount Hira, hoping for Jibril's reappearance. Finally, after approximately 40 days, while descending the mountain, the prophet heard his name being called. Looking around and seeing no one, he eventually realized the call came from above, marking the continuation of his prophetic journey. This narrative not only highlights the initial challenges the prophet faced in understanding his divine mission but also emphasizes the broader importance of seeking knowledge and the value of interfaith wisdom in recognizing and affirming prophetic experiences. Glancing upwards, he discerned the angel he had previously encountered at Hira, now situated on a throne suspended between the heavens and the earth. Overcome by an overwhelming sense of fear, he began to tremble uncontrollably. The sheer magnitude of witnessing Jibril in his true form was too profound, causing him to collapse to his knees in shock and terror. Despite this, he managed to rise and, driven by panic, rushed home. Reaching Khadija, he implored, cover me, seeking solace and protection. This phrase, cover me, was uttered in a state of intense fear, a sensation so powerful it induces physical trembling and coldness. Having witnessed the immense figure of Jibril, spanning the space between the heavens and the earth, he was engulfed in terror and immediately sought refuge with Khadija. This encounter marked the revelation of the initial verses of Surah al-Mudaththir. O you who covers himself with a garment, arise and warn, and your Lord glorify, and your clothing purify, and uncleanliness avoid, and do not confer favor to acquire more, but for your Lord be patient. These verses constitute the second revelation of the Quran. The interval of approximately 30 to 40 days without revelation served a significant purpose. Scholars suggest that this period allowed the prophet to mentally and emotionally prepare for his next encounter with Jibril. Despite this preparation, the sight of the angel still left him terrified, underscoring the profound impact of these divine experiences. This preparation phase was crucial in calming his nerves, even though he still reacted with fear. This narrative repeatedly highlights the profound humanity of Prophet Muhammad. It illustrates that he did not premeditate these events, which are not characteristic of a fraudulent or deceitful individual. Unlike self-proclaimed prophets who fabricate grandiose tales to elevate their status, the prophet's reactions were genuine and sincere, reflecting his unpreparedness and terror. His immediate reaction was to seek comfort from his wife, saying, cover me. The significance of the revealed verses, O you who covers himself with a garment, should be noted. The revelation did not occur during the sighting of Jibril but rather in Khadija's home, indicating that Jibril followed him there. As the prophet lay wrapped in his cloak, Jibril delivered the divine message. The phrase, O you who covers himself, symbolizes a call to action, urging the prophet to leave his comfort zone, abandon the warmth and security of his blanket, and take on the proactive mission of warning and guiding the people. The command, arise and warn, signifies the end of a life of ease and the beginning of an active and challenging mission. The prophet is called to leave his sheltered existence, embrace his prophetic duty, and glorify and worship his Lord while undertaking this significant responsibility. The directive to purify your garments holds both a literal and symbolic significance. Literally, it emphasizes maintaining clean clothing, free from impurities. Symbolically, it signifies the importance of maintaining a pure soul, untainted by sin. As one ensures their clothing is spotless, so too must they strive for a clean heart and virtuous character. The command to abandon idols underscores the necessity of renouncing all forms of idolatry. This encompasses both physical and spiritual renunciation, urging the prophet to discard any attachment to false deities and to focus solely on the worship of Allah. The phrase, "Do not remind others of your favors," addresses the human tendency to seek repayment or recognition for acts of kindness. Allah instructs the prophet to avoid reminding people of the favors he has bestowed upon them, as this implies an expectation of reciprocal benefits. Instead, all actions should be performed with pure intentions for the sake of Allah alone, ensuring sincerity in all deeds. The instruction to be patient for the sake of your Lord signals the forthcoming challenges and trials. The prophet is reminded that patience is essential and can only be sustained if rooted in devotion to Allah. This patience is not passive but an active endurance, motivated by faith and trust in divine wisdom. This discussion naturally leads to a theological examination of the nature of revelation, wahi, and its various forms. Wahi represents the divine communication from Allah to humanity, and Islamic tradition recognizes 7 distinct modes of revelation, each serving a unique purpose in conveying divine guidance. The least profound form of inspiration is true dreams, which remain accessible to all humans, not just prophets. These dreams convey divine messages and insights, playing a significant role in the life of Prophet Muhammad both before and after his prophethood. Another form of inspiration is the whisperings of angels, known as ilham. This type of inspiration, received by exceptionally righteous individuals, does not confer prophethood. An example is the inspiration given to the mother of Musa, Moses, as mentioned in the Quran. A more direct form of inspiration involves seeing and conversing with an angel, as frequently occurred with Prophet Muhammad and the angel Jibril, Gabriel. Jibril often appeared in the form of a companion named Dihya al-Kalbi, particularly during the Medinan period. These experiences highlight the profound humanity of Prophet Muhammad, his sincere and unprepared reactions to divine encounters, and the authenticity of his prophethood. Unlike self-proclaimed prophets who fabricate grandiose tales, the prophet's responses were genuine and deeply human, reflecting the weight and reality of his divine mission. Top of form, bottom of form. In Mecca, Jibril would not take on a visible form. However, in Medina, he would often appear as Dihya al-Kalbi, who was known for his exceptional beauty among the Sahaba. This resemblance allowed Jibril to interact without causing alarm, as people would assume it was Dihya they were seeing, not realizing it was actually Jibril. On multiple occasions, Aisha observed the Prophet speaking with Dihya and later learned it was Jibril in disguise. The third type of revelation involves the angel transforming into a human likeness. This occurred frequently, with Jibril appearing as a man, sometimes visible to the Sahaba and other times only to the Prophet. A notable instance is captured in the hadith narrated by Umar ibn al-Khattab, where Jibril, dressed in immaculate white garments and with jet black hair, appeared to the Prophet and his companions, posing questions about faith and Islam. The fourth type of revelation was more intense, where Jibril did not assume a human form. During these moments, the Prophet would enter a state of deep trance, seemingly disconnected from his surroundings. Aisha recounted that on cold days, the Prophet would perspire profusely during such experiences. Additionally, during the revelation of Surah Al-Ma'idah, the weight of the divine message was so immense that the Prophet's camel was forced to sit down under the strain. The fifth type of revelation involved the Prophet seeing Jibril in his true, magnificent form. This was an exceedingly rare occurrence, with scholars agreeing it happened at least twice. During the early years of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad primarily communicated with his close family and friends. His first convert was his wife Khadijah, whose profound trust in her husband led her to embrace Islam without fully understanding its principles. Her conversion is a testament to her deep faith and the strength of her belief in the Prophet's divine mission. The second convert was Waraqa ibn Nawfal, a figure frequently overlooked. Unlike Khadijah, Waraqa's acceptance was marked by his recognition of the Prophet's role, despite the fact that the formal declaration of faith, the Shahada, had not yet been established. His acknowledgement of Muhammad as a prophet demonstrated an early affirmation of the prophet's divine role. The identity of the third convert is debated among scholars, whether it was Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, or Zayd ibn Haritha. A commonly accepted interpretation is that Ali was the first child to embrace Islam, Abu Bakr was the first adult free man to convert, and Zayd was the first enslaved individual to do so. This categorization acknowledges the significant contributions of each figure. Ali's conversion occurred when he was approximately 10 years old, as he was raised in the household of the Prophet and Khadijah, which significantly influenced his early acceptance of Islam. Abu Bakr's conversion is well documented, and his immediate acceptance of Islam upon hearing the Prophet's message is notable. The Prophet Muhammad's high regard for Abu Bakr is evident in various hadiths. One particular instance occurred when, during a period of disagreement among the companions, Abu Bakr was the only one who affirmed the Prophet's truthfulness amidst widespread doubt. This steadfast support is emphasized in a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad observed that, unlike others who hesitated, Abu Bakr did not falter in his faith. These early instances of conversion demonstrate the profound impact of these initial followers and their critical roles in the establishment of the Islamic faith. Each of these figures made substantial contributions to the early Muslim community, exemplifying the essence of faith and dedication. By universal agreement, Abu Bakr al-Siddiq is recognized as the foremost companion of the Prophet Muhammad. Any individual who disparages Abu Bakr is deemed to incur divine disfavor. The Prophet Muhammad stated that Allah appointed him as a guide, thereby precluding the possibility of designating another close confidant. In this context, a Halil represents a deeply trusted friend, and such a relationship is singular. The Prophet asserted that, were he to select a Halil, it would undoubtedly be Abu Bakr. This sentiment, recorded in Sahih Bukhari, affirms Abu Bakr's distinguished status. It is significant to note that the Quran explicitly mentions only one companion by name, Zayd ibn Haritha, an exceptional honor. Abu Bakr is indirectly referenced in the Quran, specifically in the verse describing the two of them in the cave, which alludes to both the Prophet and Abu Bakr. This implicit reference underscores Abu Bakr's prominent position within the Muslim community, highlighting his unparalleled rank. The Quran's acknowledgement and Allah's commendation of Abu Bakr render his exalted status indisputable. Any denial of Abu Bakr's esteemed position contradicts the principles of belief in Allah and His Messenger. This assertion is firmly upheld and robustly defended. Following Abu Bakr, the notable early converts to Islam include Zayd ibn Haritha, Uthman ibn Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Abdur Rahman ibn Auf. Initially known as Zayd ibn Muhammad, Zayd later reverted to his birth name following divine revelation. The subsequent group of converts, all of whom embraced Islam through Abu Bakr's influence, includes Uthman, Ali, and Abdur Rahman, illustrating Abu Bakr's crucial role in the early dissemination of Islam. Among these early converts, Sayyid ibn Abi Waqqas was particularly noteworthy for his youth, being around 16 years old at the time of his conversion. Hailing from a distinguished Quraysh family, Sayyid faced intense familial opposition, including threats and emotional manipulation from his mother. Despite her coercion and the physical toll it took on her, Sayyid's commitment to his faith remained unshaken. His resolute stance, even in the face of potential suffering, was so profound that it prompted the Quranic revelation advising kindness to one's parents, even if they press for idol worship. Sayyid ibn Abi Waqqas holds the distinction of being the first individual to wield a bow and arrow in the cause of Islam, a notable achievement. The Prophet Muhammad expressed profound gratitude and admiration for Sayyid, stating that he would sacrifice everything for him, an exceptional honor signifying Sayyid's significant role and high regard within the early Muslim community. Omar declared that he would appoint only those individuals who had unequivocally pleased the Prophet Muhammad at the time of his passing. Among these chosen few was Sayyid ibn Abi Waqqas, underscoring his prominence. The virtues of Uthman ibn Affan are widely acknowledged, as we have previously discussed. His significance is further accentuated by his inclusion in the council appointed by Umar. Zubair ibn al-Awwam, another early convert, was a direct cousin of the Prophet Muhammad, though not through paternal lineage but via his maternal aunt, Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib. Zubair's familial connections are noteworthy, as he is the son, father, and brother of companions Sahaba, reflecting his esteemed status. The Prophet Muhammad stated that every prophet is granted a special protector or disciple Hawari. For him, this distinguished role was bestowed upon Zubair ibn al-Awwam. Abdul Rahman ibn Awf, known for his business acumen, embraced Islam through Abu Bakr's influence. Upon migrating from Mecca, he relinquished all his possessions to the Quraysh, arriving in Medina with nothing but the clothes on his back. The famous account of his reception in Medina highlights the Ansari's generosity, offering Abdul Rahman half of his property and even his household. However, Abdul Rahman declined, opting instead to engage in trade. His resourcefulness and integrity in business soon restored his wealth, enabling him to lead a prosperous life. The subsequent convert of note was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. His conversion story involves both Abu Bakr and the Prophet Muhammad. Unlike the previous converts, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was not from the Quraysh nobility but was neither a slave. He belonged to the servant class, working as a shepherd for Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayt, a staunch opponent of Islam. Abdullah's integrity was evident when he refused to provide milk from his employer's sheep to the Prophet and Abu Bakr, citing that the livestock was not his property. This encounter marked the beginning of his journey towards Islam. Despite his humble origins, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud rose to become one of the foremost scholars and companions of the Prophet, renowned for his deep knowledge and unwavering commitment to the faith. The early converts to Islam, including Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, are celebrated for their monumental contributions and unwavering faith. Each one of these individuals, despite their diverse backgrounds, became towering figures in Islamic history, embodying the virtues of dedication and perseverance. Their legacies continue to inspire Muslims worldwide, underscoring the transformative power of faith and the enduring impact of the Prophet Muhammad's message. When the elderly she-goat ceased to produce milk, the Prophet Muhammad instructed Abdullah ibn Mas'ud to identify the specific goat that had stopped lactating. Ibn Mas'ud pointed to a particular goat, which had surpassed the age of milk production. The Prophet, accompanied by Abu Bakr, approached the goat, offered a supplication, and gently massaged its udder. Miraculously, the udder filled with milk before their eyes, and they proceeded to milk it and drink. Witnessing this extraordinary event, Ibn Mas'ud was astonished and inquired about their identities, learning that he was in the presence of Abu Bakr and the Prophet Muhammad. This miraculous encounter led Ibn Mas'ud to embrace Islam, making him the sixth convert. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was later commended by the Prophet, who remarked, "If you wish to learn the Quran, learn it from Ibn Mas'ud." Abdullah himself claimed that he had memorized more than 70 surahs, approximately 2/3 of the Quran, directly from the Prophet. This direct instruction from the Prophet underscored his profound knowledge and elevated status among the companions. Following this early wave of conversions, numerous individuals from the slave class in Mecca embraced Islam. Notable among them were figures like Bilal ibn Rabah, Khabbab ibn al-Arat, Yasser, his wife Sumayya, and their son Ammar. Their conversions marked a significant expansion of the Muslim community beyond the elite and noblemen of the Quraysh. One particularly intriguing conversion story involves a Yemeni named al-Madina Abbas, who narrates his own journey. Abbas recounts that during the period of ignorance Jahiliyyah, he recognized the folly of idol worship and believed his people were misguided. Upon hearing about someone in Mecca preaching against idolatry, he traveled from Yemen to investigate. He discovered the Prophet Muhammad, who was then teaching discreetly Maktum. Abbas approached him and inquired about his identity. The Prophet responded, "I am a prophet." Abbas, unfamiliar with the term, asked, "What is a prophet?" The Prophet explained, "A prophet is someone sent by Allah to mankind." When Abbas asked about the Prophet's mission, he was told, to uphold family ties, to destroy idols, and to worship Allah alone. At this early stage of Islam, the focus was on fundamental principles rather than detailed religious practices such as prayer, charity, or pilgrimage. Abbas then inquired about the Prophet's followers, and was informed, "One free man and one slave," referring to Abu Bakr and Bilal. Despite his desire to convert, Abbas was advised against it due to the Prophet's precarious situation in Mecca. The Prophet highlighted the risks Abbas would face as a non-Qurayshi convert, emphasizing the need for discretion during the initial phase of spreading the message of Islam. These narratives illustrate the profound faith and resilience of the early converts, who, despite diverse backgrounds and societal statuses, became pillars of the nascent Muslim community. Their stories continue to inspire and educate, demonstrating the transformative power of belief in the unwavering commitment of the Prophet Muhammad and his companions. He counseled, "You cannot do this now. Return to your people. When you hear that I have triumphed over my people, then come back to me." Notably, even in the early stages of his mission, the Prophet exhibited confidence that Allah would support him. Emr narrates, "I returned to Yemen, fully anticipating the day when his mission would succeed because I was certain he was a genuine prophet. Upon learning that the Prophet had migrated to Medina, I journeyed there and entered his mosque. I inquired, 'O Messenger of Allah, do you recognize me?' It had been at least 15 years since our initial meeting. The Prophet looked at me and said, 'Yes, you are the man who came to me from Yemen in Mecca.' Though he did not remember my name, he recalled our encounter. That was when I embraced Islam and became one of the Muhajirin, the immigrants to Mecca.